Where do you start? Well, I recommend conducting an inventory of your current processes. Look at your required and recurring documents. Look at your contract deliverables, for example. Make sure you follow USAID rules in reporting, and their document templates are very useful in setting up these as a standardized Google template. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, but you do need to evaluate where can a template save you time. Then after you do this, you want to engage your team in developing these tools. As I mentioned, we hired an outside designer to help us jumpstart this whole process. It was certainly a collaborative effort. And once you have this toolkit set up, you train your team on it and make them available to everyone. Make sure everyone knows not just how, but the why behind each tool. Now, the goal here isn't to stifle creativity, but to provide a solid foundation upon which your team's creativity can flourish. As a chief of party, you're here to influence a success mindset. And that starts with empowering your team to work smarter, not harder. Standardized templates can help you to do that. Thank you for joining me today. As you move forward, may your leadership be as impactful as the project you guide. Until next time, keep leading with vision and clarity and efficiency with your new templates. I'm Dr. D. Have a great week.
Thank you for tuning in to Chief of Party to Chief of Party, Success in Your First 90 Days, your go-to source for insightful, actionable guidance that can shape the success of your project. Let's continue to drive change and create impact, one USAID-funded project at a time. Welcome to Chief of Party to Chief of Party, Success in Your First 90 Days. As you navigate the USAID landscape for the first time or seek to sharpen your skills, we're here to provide the guidance you need to address the unique challenges of this role. Host Donna Vincent Roa, an experienced Chief of Party, will inform and inspire your journey.
Welcome to the Corner Office of International Development and Humanitarian Assistance, where the view is always expansive and the decisions you make resonate far beyond these walls. Hi, I'm Dr. Donna Vincent Roa, here for this episode where we're going to talk about your role as a Chief of Party, where you're not just at the helm of a project, you're steering a vessel of change with the potential to affect lives and landscapes across the globe. Now let's talk about money, but not the usual cents and dollars. We're delving into the financial nuances that can make or break your project's budget. It's about discerning between what USAID sees as the good, the bad, and the non-negotiable costs. You see, in the intricate dance of managing a USAID-funded project, not all expenses are created equal. There are costs that, while they might seem necessary from a business standpoint, are seen through a different lens in the world of USAID. These are the unallowable, unallocable, and unreasonable costs. And understanding these categories can be like, well, learning a new language. One that, if not fluently spoken, can lead to project pitfalls. Let's start with those unallowable costs. You're likely familiar with the basics, entertainment, alcohol, and certain types of advertising, but did you know that fines and penalties, certain taxes, and contributions or donations also fall into this category? And then we have the unallocable costs. These are the expenses that, no matter how you slice the pie, can't be justified as necessary for the completion of your project's objectives. Imagine hiring an ice sculptor for a desert expedition. It's not just impractical, it's unallocable. And finally, there are unreasonable costs. These costs might be allowable and allocable, but they fail the test of prudence. In layman's terms, if you're buying gold-plated faucets for a community water project, you'll have to tap into a different funding source because USAID won't cover what doesn't make fiscal sense. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds like a tightrope walk without a net. But here's a secret. It's all about planning and perspective. It's not simply about cutting costs. It's about investing them wisely. It's looking at every dollar spent as a seed planted. Will it grow into a tree that provides shade and fruit for the community, or is it just a weed that will be uprooted and discarded? Here's where your leadership shines. You have the opportunity to guide your team in understanding these principles, not as constraints, but as a framework for ethical and efficient decision-making. It's about building a culture where every team member asks, is this expense necessary, allocable, and reasonable before they make a commitment? But how do you cultivate this mindset? All right, here's a strategy. Create a narrative around each budget line. When you consider an expenditure, tell its story. Where does it come from? What purpose does it serve? Who does it benefit? And if that story doesn't align with USAID's mission or the project's goals, well, it's time to rewrite it. Consider this. Every unallowable, unallocable, or unreasonable cost avoided is an opportunity to redirect funds to where they can have real impact. It's a pivot from expense to investment. And this mindset, this shift from spending to strategic investing, is what can set your project apart. So as you move forward, embrace the nuances of USAID's financial guidelines, not as a barrier, but as a beacon that guides your project's funds to where they can achieve the most good. And remember, it's not just about staying within the budget, it's about making the budget a blueprint for your transformative work.